good to see you, Len.
Well, it's good to be here. Nice to know that the people that we're chatting with know who we are by just looking at the computer. And we've been
I
doing this
see Kurt. I
for,
see Kurt's got his camera on. My camera's not on. Hey, Mary. Good morning. Good afternoon to you.
Been a good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can I just do a Sarah update? Sarah's my mother-in-law, and she is now comfortably resting at assisted living now, and she is just happy as a pea, and she loves it there. So they're taking good care of her now. So she is where she needs to be.
Well, that's wonderful. I know we've had Linda's mom is 90 years old, and she, for the longest time, well, first she lived in her own apartment, and then she had to move into a senior citizen center where she was still on her own, and she had her own apartment. But then when she had some other health issues, she went to the hospital. They wouldn't let her come home. She had to go to a nursing facility. And she's been pretty much happy and stable there. She just has some tendencies of falling out of the wheelchair when she tries to do things she shouldn't do. So then we have to stay, we're real close, and they call us whenever there's an issue. As a matter of fact, Mother's Day, the nursing home was having a fabulous reception for moms. And
Mhm.
at 6 in the morning, they call us to let us know that mom decided to go for a walk.
No,
Course, that
sorry,
didn't work,
I
but
guess not.
okay. And we're gonna go and see her this afternoon. Linda's been under the weather, and I think she's decided that she's not gonna go see her mom because you become more sensitive when you go to see people in nursing homes if you're not feeling well. So that may be on hold. But I'm glad that Mary was able to get, and you notice we have a new platform we're operating under, and you can thank Mary Stanley for that. And that's why we got a picture. Um, and so we could see each other. In normal times, I would have my picture on, but you don't need it on today. But Len, it's good to see you and Kurt, and we'll be having others that, as we go forward using this system on a daily basis, we'll certainly have lots of people and be able to have it. I have some questions, Mary. Is this able to be recorded?
It is being recorded and it is also live. And yesterday, when I uploaded and adjusted all the platforms and set everything up, we had over 87 downloads of the show yesterday.
Wow.
That's exciting. Well, we are going to be having the Golden Rule Society Optimize Your Life show continue as we go forward. We have some changes that are going on. We'll let everybody know with the Hope Collection. Meredith Griffin has asked us because her life is changing in many ways. And we all know, of course, 5 years ago we lost Joel, and her life has changed. She still has five grandkids, boys. One of them has just had some major surgery, heart surgery, but she's doing well. But her time and her involvement has become less and less and less with the Hope Collection. And based on that, she's asked us to make some changes with our status. And so we're going to be working more closely with Captain Len Kaine and the Golden Rule Society. We never will abandon hope, but it's just going to change. The operation is to be changing. And so we're going to be just closer to you, Len. I want you to know that.
Excuse me, we're bringing in more recruits to spread the kindness even farther.
That's
that's
correct.
the goal. That's the goal, helping to make it a better world.
There you go. So here we are on Thursday, operating today instead of tomorrow because of conflicts with everybody. Medical appointments and doctor's appointments and disappointments. And so we're running the show today so that we honor you, Len, as we do every day. And we open the show, the program, to let people know that the Optimize My Life and Golden Rule Society have been working for years to do that very goal, making a better world. We have our famous 5-time nominee, Line Captain Len Kaine, who is actually primarily, we have the show on, particularly on the end of the week. We've run the show to honor you and lift you up and to expose all the work that you have done and are doing continuously. And we proudly brag on you about that. And so this is our opportunity to let you. We give this time to you each week, Len, and we set it up for you. We're here to serve you. I know you look at it another way, but we've always been in the. And when Joel created the show, and then when you and he got together and expanded, and you actually joined forces, we've always been in the mode of helping to support and expand whatever we can to honor you.
Tugs at the heartstrings to know that what we're doing is helping to make it a better world. And we're not selling anything, simply being courteous and kind, and let you know that we've got the wonderful, wonderful things to help you and yours now and always. That's the nice part. So you don't have to worry about paying any money here. It's all free, and that's the nice part about it. The Kindness Campaign. Mary Stanley is the founder. She's one of the top-notch ladies. And we got Mr. Ron Clayton. And sadly, he's filling in for a fellow that was with us who passed away. The gentleman was in charge of the senior captains in the United States of America for 3 different captains. That terrific. And he did a great job. And sadly, the leader died, and Mr. Ron Clayton is right in place to fill in to let you know that we're going to keep this going now and always. Our Golden Rule Society charity here for you, and there's so many nice things that are available to you and yours. And you can contact them anytime. Tell them that, hey, log in and watch the thing and sing all the wonderful things that you can have that are available to you. Oh, gosh, oh dear, it tugs at the heartstrings. I use that term because it just makes me feel so good. I grew up as a coal miner's kid in Pennsylvania in the US of A. And after graduation, off I went to the Navy. Next thing you know, I was a Navy fighter pilot and involved in so many things here, there, and everywhere, saving lives in combat situations. Wow, that's the nice part about it. And it tugs at the heartstrings, I keep saying. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to call any of your family or friend or neighbors, anybody like that, and invite them to come to the show, please do, because the more the better. And again, we're just doing it to make it a better world. Live life the way you want to be living, and with treating others the way you want to be treated, truthfully, with dignity and respect. God, what a wonderful way to live. And that's why we're here. Matter of fact, in the Navy, I was fighter pilot and was selected to be the #1 organization for the kikes works to help make it a better world, and being #1 in the world, and then another group, just wonderful, tugs at the heartstrings, I keep saying. So we keep going with our Golden Rule Society charity. Again, all free, everything. And there's a little something, a picture of me in my getting into the copy of my airplane. Wow. Oh, I was
Len, which plane was that? What model?
That one was the F-8 Crusader, and I was
Oh,
selected.
nice.
And I was going to, after I finished flight training and doing tactics and all that sort of stuff, I was selected one of the first men in the Navy of the United States Nation to fly the F-8 Crusader, which is the first airplane that could fly over 1,000 miles an hour. That's a fast flyer. And it was fun, and we did well. And the Navy liked me quite a bit. And they said, hey, well, we're going to keep you going. And they made me an instructor in airtime tactics. So I put it together, helped all the guys that are going through the training. And we put together what they call the CAT program. My last name is Kaine, so it was this Kaine Air Tactics. And it just went here, there, and everywhere, helping to make it a better world. And in combat over in Vietnam, using the Kaine Air Tactics program, over there for almost 9 months in combat, up in altitude in fighter planes. First organization that did not lose a single airplane in combat. Now that really tugs at the heartstrings to know that you're doing saving lives. As a matter of fact, when we were there, the gentleman that was in charge of the American Air Force in the Pacific, he heard what we were doing. He came out to the USS Enterprise, which was our aircraft carrier, and he spent half a day, he and his assistant, and he says, tell us all about what you're doing that's working so well. He says, we're losing airplanes in combat, and you're not losing anything. So I spent half a day with them, gave them everything that they needed. And this gentleman, he was in World War II. As a matter of fact, he shot down 7 Nazi airplanes, 7 of them. What a wonderful man he was. But what he did was he took the Kaine Air Tactics and implemented with his own organization over in the Pacific. And about a week or so later, I received a message from him saying, hey, Len Kaine, guess what? We virtually cut our losses in half, and more losses every day are gone. And it again and again tugs at the heartstrings to know that you're saving lives. And that's why we're here today. Not in combat, but in living a life that's worth. Because when I was ready to go to the Navy, off I was ready to go. I had my little bag ready to go, and my mother stopped me and said, Len, I want you to remember this. Wherever you go, whatever you do, whoever you meet, be kind. Now those 2 words are still in my heart and my soul and my mind. And I want you to share that with everybody. Be kind, because you're a wonderful, wonderful person. Your people, all your friends and family, they're going to really think the world of you. And you are just in return being courteous and kind to them. Why not? It really works. So keep it going and going on and on. There's so much more that we have to tell you about who's doing what and where they're going. And those are just a few examples, because I jokingly tell people, we have things to tell you this afternoon, wherever you are, that's going to knock your socks off, and you're going to be happy to share with your family, friends, and neighbors, and churches and charities. Tell everybody. Going to do the same and be living a better life. And it's very simple, very powerful, and why not? And that's why we're here. Wow.
Captain Len,
Yes, sir.
this is Ron, and I have to describe because if you remember last spring, about this time, we were on a cruise ship down in Turks and Caicos. We were on the Liberty, I believe. What a wonderful name of a ship, Carnival Cruise. And you were recognized. They have a special reception for our service members on that cruise, and you were brought up on stage and recognized. and honored. And you were talking to everybody. You were telling the stories, some of the different stories about your work. Well, that Caine program you developed, a number of people. We had people from all over the world that had been in different air forces. We had some people there from the Royal Australian Air Force. We had people in Navy. We had people from England, and we had just regular U.S. other veterans, Marines, Coast Guard, um, Air Force, Army. And so while you were talking, and then afterwards, people were coming up to us on the ship, and they were talking how they are still using that process, that program you designed and developed for combat. They're still using it today in active air forces and navies around the world. And it was so wonderful to hear people talk about it and share that a program that you developed years ago that's still being implemented in the different armed forces around the world. And we're so proud because you were recognized for that.
Well, it was an honor and a pleasure, and it just tugs at the heartstrings, I keep saying, to know that you're helping to make it a better world, and that's what we're doing right now with Mary Stanley. Let me tell you about Mary Stanley. She served in the military in the United States, and when she finished her time serving in the military, she heard about our Golden Rule Society charity. And she came and she said, Len, is there any way that I can help out? And after interviewing her, Mary Stanley, I said, you were on the team. And she has just been adding on a day-to-day basis improvements that keeps making the Golden Rule Society charity better and better, because that tugs all the way. And to know that she's doing it, but here she is, we're talking to you right now on a video, because before this day, when we were talking about the show, we weren't no video, but people could hear us. And now, because of Mary Stanley, they can hear us and they can see us. When we're talking, personality comes through. And that happy stuff. Because it goes on, keeps getting better. And why not? Why not live in a wonderful world, supporting each other, being courteous and kind? Ah, super duper, all the way. And Mr. Ron Clayton, God bless you. You are just helping. And oh, I can go on, and I'm going to do that because Mary Stanley is something, and I want to tell you about it, by the way, after she became aboard with the U.S. Golden Rule Society. She, this year, was selected in the United States as one of the top ladies selected in the country, the number one, because of all the work that she is doing to help others, not only in the United States, but any country that is willing to accept the goals that we have and the good guidance. And again, put your money in your pocket, because you don't have to pay us anything. And people do make donations to our Golden Rule Society charity. And what we do, whatever we get, we give. A simple example, when I was helping an organization here in the California area, it was called the Pacific Southwest Airlines. They invited me to be an instructor pilot for their pilots, airline pilots. I said, okay, I'd be happy to do that. 14 of them. And I was the instructor finally, put it together, taught them how to do that, how to be safe, how to climb correctly, how to do all the wonderful things. And the organization that volunteered these 14 gentlemen, they were from Southwest Airlines. in Texas. And we finished their training. They went down to Texas and joined the organization, which is Southwest Airlines. And Southwest Airlines nowadays is one of the top airlines in the United States. And that, my friends, really, really feels tugging at the heartstrings to know that people are flying with pilots that are safe and kind and courteous. Wow, this is really something nice to be talking about. And that's why we're here. Unveiling the Valor, and that's, as I said about Mary Stanley, she's super duper. As I said, when she's selected as #1 in the United States for the good work that she's doing, and she continues to do it and keeps expanding. So tell all your friends. We do this 5 days a week, but I happen to be selected as the keynote speaker on usually on Fridays. Today is Thursday, obviously, and they asked me to pop in today, and I said, "Be happy to." About more people we talk to, more we tell them how to live their lives, and just simply making it being courteous and kind. Because one time when I was an instructor there at the Pacific Southwest Airlines, I received at Christmas, I got 2 awards, Christmas presents, really. And one came from my wife, Ann, thank you, and one came from her mother back in Pennsylvania. So I said, what am I going to do with 2 of these wonderful little gifts to wear on my shirt? And they said, Len, well, you sell one and you give the other one away. All in kid fun. That's what we have friends. So what I decided to do with the airline, I said, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to give you a gift. And anybody who wants to play, and there's no cost, no fee, but if you sign up, we're going to let you get involved in the program, and the gifts that we offer, we're going to offer them to everybody that is involved. And it's all free, but we do it all on paper, and all you have to do is swap. Give some gift to the people in the organization that we are with, that we can give the gifts to them with the churches and charities and nonprofit organizations, and we selected California. And that's what we did. We had a whole bunch of people swapping in, giving money and giving gifts, and that's what we did. We then gave all of those gifts to the charities throughout. And guess what? All the charities ended up receiving donations from people who would accept the gifts from them. And they raised over $1 million. We raised over $1 million. And all the money went to the charities throughout. We didn't get paid, but it was appreciated by everybody, and we appreciated the fact that they got involved. And that was fun. And my good friend, who was an attorney, and he was also a golfing buddy, when he saw what happened, we raised all that money, he said, Len, we got to form a charity, which he took care of, and we had the Golden Rule Society charity at the time. So we had the charity, and we kept doing the same sort of programs, raising money, helping children, churches, charities, and we're still doing it. Now we don't get paid, and it benefits everybody and anybody that wants to be involved. Why not? But the point is, the focus is on making a better world for you. And all you have to do is treat others the way you want to be treated, truthfully, with dignity and respect. And it goes on and on. And Mary Stanley has 2 wonderful young children, a little boy and a little girl. And she also has a wonderful husband. and they get together and they continue being courteous and kind to one another, especially the children. And it's wonderful stuff to know that, and her daughter especially is getting to the point where she just wants to do other work and more work to help make it a better world with others. Now that is really following in the footsteps of her mother. Oh, and I've got another story to tell you because I mentioned that I was involved in combat over in Vietnam. 9 months. We didn't lose a single airplane. And who was on the ground were gentlemen of the United States Air, not the Air Force, but the Marines. And years ago, after the war was over, Mr. Ron Clayton and one of his good friends, Rod, anyway, this good friend of mine called me and he says, Len, you've got to get together and come down to Texas and meet Mr. Ron Clayton. No, Alexander Candelaria is the name of that he introduced me to. So I went down to Texas. How about that? And I met Mr. Alexander Candelaria. And here's the deal. He was wounded in combat and he was being medically discharged. He was in the state working at the hospital, but he was also doing other work on the side. But the other work on the side, and this is something I keep using the term knock your socks off. So I went down, I met him, and I said, well, tell me what's going on. And he's a brilliant man. And he told me what he was doing, showed me what he was doing, and I spent more than half a day with him. And when I saw what he was doing, I said, here's the deal. You need to be in business. So while I was there, I contacted some people and we put him into his organization in business, a corporation. I put the money together. Here it is. Helped him out. And that organization is now called Intiva Health. The initials INTIVA Health. And helping others. Simple as that. You need help? Here's what we can do for you. They keep doing it. They made me a director and an assistant. And I'm in California. He's down in Texas. And he's doing more work doing on his own than that I could help. But I kept helping him, and I still do. And here's the deal. What happened just 2.5 years ago. Intiva Health, the organization, it was selected and is now the #1 organization in the world supporting the medical industry. They had 1, 2, 3 manufacturing plants built to handle all the stuff that people, the doctors, the nurses, the organization putting together and saying, hey, this will help them out, saving the lives of people. And that's the nice part about it. Can you imagine? You talk to your doctor or your nurse or your hospital or whoever and ask them if they're familiar with Intiva Health, INTIVA. And if they don't know what you're talking about, they're really behind. But I guarantee the medical industry knows about it because Intiva Health, #1 in the world. And again, I'm just honored, along with my wife and the family, that we are part of it and help put it together because we're saving lives on a day-to-day basis. Who knows how many pills are given to people, takes away all their pain and suffering, keeps them alive rather than having them check out and be called to heaven. There you go. That's the kind of stuff we're doing. And I hope I'm not boring you with it, but in fact, if you're part of it, and you can be, talk to your doctor, nurses, and everybody, and see what you can do to help. Because people say, "Hey, look at these pills," and people do sharing pills that they put together through their doctors and scientists and all that sort of stuff. And they're no longer in pain and suffering because people are working together in Tiva Health, and you ought to take a look at it. And Mary, may I turn it over to you? I'm going to take a sip of my coffee.
Well, Len, I'm going to hop in about how to marry just a second. A couple things I want to share. One of the areas that Intiva Health has developed, they are now, besides being recognized as the number one supporter of the medical industry, that's because they help people who go and get medical education to do different things in the medical field. They have to get certified to practice. And Ativa Health is cornerstone in the world to being able to do that. That's one division. They also have the pharmaceutical division where they are now the number one supplier of gummy bears. You're familiar with gummy bears for kids or treats, but they've designed a pharmaceutical organic process to make the gummy bear material for taking medicines. And of course, it's easier for people to do that than swallowing big pills or terrible tasting medicines. So you watch TV today, there's gummy bear vitamins and food supplements and prescriptions. And you can thank Antiva Health for that. And you can thank Len Kaine because he had the foresight to understand the greatness of this company and Angelo and the rest of the people, and Jim Kyle, the people are the operators of that organization. So I want to encourage people to take advantage of this company. You may find that they can benefit you wherever you're listening to us around the country, around the world for that matter. And so again, we want to thank you, Len, because you brought this to the Golden Rule Society and the Hope Collection and Optimize Your Life. And so we've been utilizing and promoting Intuitive Health for years. Many people are benefiting because of what you've done. Also, I'm sitting here looking at the pictures of the people that are on the call today. I want to compliment. I know Mary Stanley. Again, this is now special. We have the photography and the camera. I noticed Mary went and got a haircut, and she had her hairstyle. She looks so pretty. It's just nice to see her. Hey, there she is. So you know, she she usually is running around her house because again the kids are wonderful children, but they're children, and she is a specialist in helping as a mom. What she's done, she's taken her education of helping children on the spectrum and be able to help them to live a greater and better life. And now she's taken and turned that into helping families to live a better life. And she's changing and she's leading a new program in travel that'll help her and anybody that can hear us on this call. They can get a hold of her and she can help you and their families to do things in travel, going places, hotels, cruises, special resorts. And many people that have children on the spectrum don't travel. But she's going to help change the world and make it a better place. And she is our coordinator for the show and many other things with the Golden Rule Society and the Hope Collection. We're so proud of her, and we thank you for your help. There's another fellow on the call today. His name is Kurt Arlinghouse. And years ago, Kurt was encouraged to become a life coach through a educational system, which he did. He went and took the classes and studied, and so he's gotten himself certified to be a life coach. And he actually helps run and host shows with this group, with the Optimize Your Life and Golden Rule Society, and he's available to meet with. And we have many other people, and we're looking to expand our programs. And so I just want to mention to you that, again, today we're having this show, and this is the first day of our using the new platform called Riverside, which is really interesting as we move forward. We'll be making it available to people, and it's simple. when you get a invitation, you just be able to click on it and be able to go right on, and you can turn the camera on or off, microphone on or off, and so you'll be able to either be seen or not, but you can learn and learn about what we're doing. Today, we're talking about Len King, and I'm observing him as a hero, American hero, and a war hero and a peace hero. Um, he invented the kindness campaign that's so popular. Different companies and private and public and manufacturers all now talk about being kind. Well, you can thank Len Caine for that whole process. And we're so proud of him and excited that we can have him and host him today. And so we encourage you to come back on Fridays at noon. We're just running it today on Thursday as we kick off this new platform.
Marvelous stuff. And I think that Mary Stanley has a little announcement about on this coming Friday, tomorrow. There's some technology work that's going on, and I don't know if there's going to be. So, Mary, tell us about anything show tomorrow, please.
Tomorrow we are not going to be doing a show, but the following Friday, which is the 22nd, we are going to host our start of our special shows for Memorial Day. And so we're going to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Lucky for me and Len, we got to survive it and we celebrate Veterans Day, but there's a lot that have not made it and their stories need to come out.
Super duper. And that's the way it goes. We keep doing that sort of thing, ladies and gentlemen. And we invite you to do this. Write it down that the Friday after tomorrow, there's going to be a wonderful super duper share. So, because it's dedicated to helping and honoring all those who fought, served, and even died, giving us the freedoms that we have in the world today. And God bless them all, now and always. Oh, Mary Stanley, you are super duper something special. And I want you to keep up your good work. And Ron Clayton. And by the way, Ron Clayton's lovely wife, Linda, is right along with Ron doing all the good work to helping to make up our world. Let me give you an example. Just a few years ago, Ron and his wife, Linda, invited me to their home state back on the East Coast. And there is the Naval Station, the Navy Station. It's the biggest one in the United States. And they invited me. They said, Len, we made a deal. You are going to be the keynote speaker in the largest naval organization in the country. And I said, wow, that's very kind. I appreciate it. So I ziggied over there, and at the special event that they had, which was super duper. Oh, I mean, thousands of people were there honoring, and coincidentally, Mary Stanley came there to the event with her two children, and the children, what they brought with them were little United States flags, tiny, maybe about 6 inches. And the girls and her son, they would walk around to where the people were. God bless those guys and gals that were buried there, and they would put a little flag on where they were buried, each one of them, and that again tugged at the heartstrings to know what the young children were doing, honoring those who gave their lives for their freedoms, and marvelous. So that is how we came together, and Mr. Ron Clayton, he filled in for the gentleman that sadly, Joel Griffin, he passed away, and Ron Clayton took his place. Now, Ron's wife and children are still with us, but we miss Ron. And Ron, Joel Griffin, we pray for him all the time because he was just a wonderful, wonderful man. So you're part of it, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope I explained to you that we're not going to be with you tomorrow, this Friday, but the following Friday. And that's what you're going to see. Wonderful, wonderful show. And it's going to be right up there tugging at your heartstrings to know that, yes, there are people who are giving more and many who have already given for your freedoms, your courtesy, and your kindness. So back over to you there, Ron, please.
Well, as always, Len, it's always a pleasure as we share these times together. I love the pictures that Mary's got. Oh, there you are. Actually, that's me with Ariana. We call her Princess. That's Mary's daughter. When she was in Buffalo at that weekend when they drove from Minnesota all the way to Buffalo, and then the kids they performed. They led the Pledge of Allegiance, and they sang, and they were just a big part of that presentation at the waterfront at the Buffalo Naval Park, and they were just super at what they did. And there's this picture if you're watching on the actual
Screen.
format that we're on today. You can see there she is, and I think she's grown a foot since she saw that picture taken. She's
More
just
than a foot. And
more
this
than
picture actually sits by her bed.
oh my goodness. Well, that was the day we had a picnic in the backyard, and Glenn and Ann Kaine from California were there, and lots of moms and dads that came from Minnesota to celebrate and honor the military and the people who lost their lives. And we were at the marina on the boat where the Buffalo Naval Park is, and then there is what they call the military honor roll, where there are monuments, 9 different monuments set up to honor those who have lost their life fighting and defending our country. And of course, this being our 250th anniversary, we are looking this year to do more invitations. There's the wall, the picture of the Wall of Honor. And I think that's part of the Vietnam War memorial that's at the place where we were at and presenting, and there was military making a presentation. Of course, Lennon is their admiral's uniform as he spoke to the whole crowd. It was just so neat and to be able to see him and to share in that. That was on Monday. On Sunday, he was actually leading and was welcome as part of the service at our church. And people still talk about his day where he came to church and shared. And the central theme to what he talked about was being kind. You know, he was at a time when he was in the service when we were at war and things were not always great. But he participated, and in his service, he helped make lives better for all of us. And he helped end the war, and he helped us move into the next phase of our life of the great American country. And he is a leader among men.
You're very kind, very, very kind. God bless you. Thank you, Ron. So, how goes it with you, Mary? Anything more that we can pass on today that you'd like to make sure we don't miss? I hope you're still with us, Mary.
She's
And
got to turn her mic on.
I forgot to unmute. I'm upstairs we got the good computer fixed, so I'm upstairs right now. on a good computer until I get my own computer. So I keep muted because it's a little loud in the background with the monsters. Um, just be kind. Treat others the way you want to be treated. You know, open the door instead of running to avoid it, or don't make smart comments when you hear kids make a comment or say so, act out in the grocery store because they may be special. They may be overwhelmed, and you don't know if it's a temper tantrum or an overwhelmed moment.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen who are listening to the show, you've just got to say a little prayer for Mary Stanley and her family, Mr. Ron Clayton and his organization, especially his lovely lady. And it's just so nice to be working with these people, especially Linda Clayton, Ron's wife. She is such a wonderful, wonderful lady, and just being courteous and kind all the time. And those are the kind of people that you like to have as friends and neighbors, churchgoers, up your to better your life every way that you possibly can. And that's why we're here. God bless you all, now and always. And with that, Ron and Linda and Mary, I'd like to turn it over to you to say your goodbyes because I'm ready to go. I got things to do, people to see on the way. Over to you. God bless.
Evening, coffee cup by the kitchen sink. You say the world feels heavy lately. Hard to smile, hard to think. Then a voice comes through the static, soft and brave at the same time.